What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Matty P here, breaking down the news that the Steelers are set to bring in Kliff Kingsbury as a potential OC candidate, and they'll be bringing him in for an interview. Now, Kliff Kingsbury has coached in the NFL as a head coach, obviously with the Arizona Cardinals. He coached in college at Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and he also coached at Houston. So obviously, Arizona Cardinals is where a lot of fans would know him from, where he coached Kyler Murray. Why is that interesting? Kyler Murray is a very mobile quarterback. Mike Tomlin has been very interested in mobility at the quarterback position. It's something he's talked about a lot in the latter years of Big Ben, going into the draft where they got Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's recognized not necessarily for being a mobile quarterback in the likes of Anthony Richardson or Lamar Jackson, but he's considered definitely more mobile than like a Mason Rudolph, and definitely more mobile than a lot of quarterbacks around the league. So it's kind of interesting that then they bring in an offensive coordinator as part of their search that is more that way. Equally, there's still a lot of people out there that believe the Steelers should go draft a quarterback in the draft. So how will bringing in Kliff Kingsbury affect that? But that's an interesting point as well. So let's look at Kliff Kingsbury super quickly and what he might bring to the Steelers if he was selected as the OC. So as I say, Kliff Kingsbury had 4 years in the NFL. Kliff had an 8-8 season when it was still 16 games, the last 16-game season in 2020. Then 2021, he had an 11-6 winning season there, so got into double digits. Prior to that, he'd had a 5-10 winning season. And the final season in the NFL, he had a 4-13 season. Obviously, the Arizona Cardinals faced a lot of injuries. Kyler went out as well. So from that perspective, when that team was firing with the right personnel, it was all going good. It was all golden. When it wasn't working, it was bad. Now, the Arizona Cardinals are still a team that's still, not doing that well in the NFL. A lot of that's a whole organization thing. So there's a lot to contend with there and to have to consider when you look at Kliff Kingsbury. So why don't we look at the offense? Because if he was selected as OC, that's what he'd be brought in to do. Okay, so from an offensive perspective, there's a lot of stats for those that are watching the visual, not just listening right now. There's a lot of numbers in front of you, but there are a lot of top 10 numbers in front of you. So the thing that Kliff Kingsbury did is even when the teams were performing poorly, he was still a top 22 offense in terms of yards they scored. The worst season he had was ranked 21 in terms of points. Best season he had was ranked 11 in terms of points. In terms of the passing offense, we'll look at that first. It was top 20 every single year in terms of the attempts. So that's a lot of passing, right? A lot less rushing. But when you look at the rushing, he did pretty well there too. But in terms of yards, his first season was 24th. That was the season that they only won in 4 games. But then it got better. Then it was 17 ranked in terms of yards. Then it was top 10 ranked in yards. And even in his final year, it was top 18 in yards. TDs, again, in those 2 double-digit win seasons, he was ranked 13th and 12th respectively. In those seasons as well, so he was 17th in terms of interceptions for the fewest interceptions and 7th for the fewest interceptions when they won 11 games. On the rushing side, they were top 10 3 years, apart from their last year where they were ranked 22nd. Obviously, they were getting a lot behind in games, so they were having to throw the football. That's why they were still ranked. That was why they were ranked number 4 in passing attempts. So from that perspective, and then actually I should also talk about TDs. They were top 10 again there, 3 years, 3rd, 4th, and 7th in terms of the TDs that they were scoring off rushing offense. So he can put together a coordinated game when you look at Kliff Kingsbury. It is a very interesting thing. Now, as I mentioned, I did mention the college situation. He was coaching from as young as 29. He's held the roles of offensive quality control, offensive coordinator, and QB coach, and then head coach basically since 2013 through Texas Tech into the Arizona Cardinals before taking off the 2023 season. So a lot of people were talking about Kliff Kingsbury as a candidate. It kind of was interesting in terms of the play calling and what Mike Tomlin called for experience. He's a different candidate to Zach Robinson at LA Rams that we're talking about, but very highly experienced. He would break the Steelers' comfort zone on how much they want to pay coaching staff, probably. But this could be what Mike Tomlin needs to get himself back in the big dance. But let me know in the comments your thoughts on Kliff Kingsbury. Is he the right guy to bring in as OC? Can he turn around the Steelers offense? As always, go Steelers.